Okay, we've got a whole lot of questions from a whole lot of people about details of the distributed church. Now we're just at the beginning of this thing, and so I want us all to be patient, but I want to explain things just in a simple way as we go along, and then we'll tell you more detail as this whole thing unfolds. But let me just read you a few from a few people that other people are asking. This is from John. What do you mean by making your own church? What does that look like? Is it a Bible study or an informal dinner to create deeper relationships? This is from Terry. How do people start home churches? Are there particular steps? Do these people have special qualifications or instruction? Do you have to have a big us to start off with, or can you just pray about it and then invite your neighbors? This is from Mickey. I'll just give segments of his question, or her question. But it says, what exactly is the difference between what you're describing and a home group? Are we changing the term home group to church? This is from Sandra. What would you say is the definition of church? I ask because a group of us women get together to study the Word and love others outside our group by serving them. So what's the difference between what we're doing and being a distributed church? All of those great questions. First, let me back us all up. All of what we're doing is legitimate and wonderful. We're not trying to trash anything anybody is doing to grow in the Lord. It's important for us to understand that we are going to be valuing all the forms of doing church that we have. We're simply going to give people an additional option to grow. You remember our motto here is bringing people to maturity in Christ. Now all of these, including our larger worship services, do that. And so we don't want to get rid of those things that are valuable for people. But an elder brought up just in this morning's meeting that you're never quite as mature as when you actually take responsibility to lead not just a person, but to lead a church, to form a church that is responsible for being a church and not just a piece of the church. And so here's kind of where we're going. As the Spirit leads, this is not a program, not everybody has to do this, but as the Spirit leads, we would like to expand on doing the church or being the church in formation. Every group we have is the church in formation. But there comes a point when you want to take more responsibility for 4 aspects of your group life. Number 1, and these are the 4 S's, by the way. Number 1, you self-identify as being a church that has the historic Christian theology of the Nicene and Apostle Creed. In other words, it's not just calling yourself a church, it's actually being in the history of the church and believing the legitimate Orthodox historic theology that the church believes. Number 2, you practice the sacerdotal functions, the sacred practices. Sacred and sacerdotal come from the same word. And so when there's somebody in the group, you can get a pastor from the larger church, or you can just do it yourself in the group as a distributed church, as a self-identified church. So if there is somebody that wants to get married, you could do the wedding in the group. If somebody needs to be baptized, you could do the baptism in the group. Somebody needs to have a funeral, you can do the funeral in the group. Somebody wants to serve communion, you can just serve communion in the group. We'll teach you how to do all those things. We will give you the resources and give you the authority so that you don't have to refer those services or those practices outside your group. And those people who are performing them actually know you and are a part of your life. That's very important to being a shepherd. And it's almost impossible in just a large church only setting. So that's the second S. The third S is this, is that we serve to empower. That is, when we serve people outside the group. Oops. Let me do that again. The third S is that we serve to empower. That is, when we serve people, we don't just serve people inside the group. We serve people outside the group, both in practical and spiritual ways. And so therefore, we are not simply taking care of each other's needs. We are actually building people up to become servants themselves. And so service outside the group is very important. And you can have a group and just learn stuff, or you can have a group and just serve each other or take care of each other. But that's not the church. The church has to have mission and be mission focused together. And the fourth S is this, that we have to be spontaneously expanding. That is, you don't just care for people inside your group, you make disciples of people outside the group, and you plant churches, other churches. If you're a church, then you plant other churches. Or you have somebody in the group say, I got 3 friends, I'm going to go do with them what we've done here. So ultimately, that would be the greatest thing to being mature in Christ. If we had a whole lot of people who would like to do that, and you can do that and still be a part of the larger church, or you can do that and be a part of the cluster or network of other churches, your choice, but we'll help you do it.